Well, good afternoon, everybody, or actually evening. It is a little after 9:30 on March 13th, and figured I'd do a video. It's actually kind of a little asking for help type thing. As you guys seen, I think in my last video, I've got the '95 Ford Bronco XLT. Got about 115,000 miles on it now. Put right about 1,000 miles on it in a little over a month and a half. I haven't really done a whole lot to it. I did switch back to the original computer, which has just about completely solved my whole transmission going into limp mode issue. I think it's only done it 3 times, and last time I got 25 miles an hour. It hammered into second gear, and it was fine after that. Still kind of trying to chase that down. I half-assed, but otherwise, the only thing I've really done to it is I put new side mirrors on it, put new door speakers in it, new 6x9s in the back, and that's about it, really. It's been kind of sucks on mileage right now, but was kind of looking at that the other day, and it needs a tune-up. It needs plug, wires, caps, rotor. I mean, it needs to be gone through. About the only thing I don't have to change is the fuel filter, because I was underneath of that out at Nyack, and the whole fuel system from literally the gas tank up to the motor is all brand new, stainless, braided lines, which are wrapped in blue, I wouldn't even call it rubber, but like a hard plastic line. But that stuff's all brand new, so I'm not going to screw with it. Hopefully this week, though, we are going to change the muffler out. The dang thing's the size of my daughter, which is absolutely ridiculous. I mean, sitting there at idle, you can't even tell the dang thing's running. I mean, it's that quiet, and I don't like it. It's got to have a growl. Some of the modifications that I have planned for it, I've already price shopped. I've already, called around places, used my Nyack discount, my shop discount, trying to get the best deals possible. I was going to put ceramic shorty headers on there, but the more I look into it, especially with the Ford 302s, with the EFI, the shorty headers kind of kill the low end torque, but improve the horsepower in the higher range. Well, it's a 4x4. It's not going to see high RPMs all that much. And let's say kind of get a little ticked off in traffic. Then every once in a while it might see 3,500, 4,000 RPMs, but not very often. So I'm going to go to long tubed headers. I found a set through online for, it was $220, full tube with gaskets and flanges and bolts, and so that was a pretty reasonable price. The whole ignition system, the coil, cap, rotor, ignition module, everything, that's getting all upgraded to MSD. Plug the wires, and then freaking crap, what the heck were those spark plugs? Give me a second here. Was going to upgrade, just basically upgrade everything. I've heard pros and cons on the cold air intake for that truck. Pros and cons on the throttle body spacer. Kind of looking for ideas, what other people have done. It's pretty much, except for the higher intake, taller intake, it's the same thing as a Mustang 5.0. But been kind of looking at cams, thumper cams, the E303 cams. Basically, I like the low end grunt. I want to be able to go out on a trail, get in the mud, and be able to power my way through it. So any ideas on a good street friendly camshaft? Kind of keep with the hydraulic lifters. Might go to ones. I don't know what ratio rocker arms are now, but I'm thinking either 1.6 or 1.7, switching those two. Yeah, I just bigger injectors. I'm looking for ideas. The motor is bone stock. Nothing's been done to it. No upgrades. It's unmolested. Also, this summer, pending funds, of course, I am going to build a pretty good sound system in it. I like my music. I'm going to do the same thing I did with my van, which is, there's a post on my channel from a few years back where I had a sound system in that thing that was hitting so hard it was shutting headlights off coming down the interstate. But I had everything wired up to a toggle switch, so I could kill the amp, still have my regular speakers and the CD player going, said kill the subs, when my kids are in the vehicle. Kids are out of the vehicle, toggle switch is on, and I'm ground pounding. This system is going to be in between 4,500 watts and 5,500 watts. So it's a big system for a street vehicle. I'm not going to put any bigger lift in it. It's got a 2-inch in it now. Part of the reason I don't want to go any bigger is my kids already have an issue getting up into the dang thing. Friends have issues getting into the dang thing. I'm going to put the tubular step, just a little mini step. Not a big full tube bumper or bar or anything, Nerf bar, whatever you want to call it on there. But just a little mini step to help people get up in there. But yeah, I'm looking for ideas to get a little bit more power without having to do a complete engine teardown. Next year at NIAC in the automotive department, we are doing engine builds. That's when I'm going to build a new motor for it. But I like to keep this one around because it's the original motor for the truck. It's low miles for the year. But I'm looking at building a stroker motor to dump in there. Nothing too overly crazy. My goal is 450 horse, which will push that thing around pretty good. I did look at it, long blocks and stuff, crate motors, in the $4,000 to $5,000 range that only had 450 horse or less. But I'm not going to go turbo. I'm not going a blower. I'm not going to do nitrous. I've done that stuff when I was younger. Kids, old age. I'm not going to do it. But for right now, simple cam swap, lifters, rocker arms. I want to get at least 300 horsepower of the motors in there now. So if anybody has any ideas, please let me know. Just comment on this video. I'm going to replace the front fenders. The wheel wells are getting pretty well hashed out. The backs, I can get away with just doing little patches. The lips are good. It's just right above the lips where it's starting to rust out a little bit. Where the tailgate's rusted out, I can put a patch panel in there, weld it, a little bit of filler, sand it down, primer, paint it. It will be getting repainted eventually. It's not going to be this year, no way. But I'm going to go midnight blue. The topper's going to get cleaned up. I'm going to switch toppers from my old Bronco, my 1980, and put the 1980 topper on this one because it has the rare sliding side windows, which you do not see on any of them. I've never seen another Bronco from 1980 to 96 that had the sliding topper windows. Before that goes on, though, I'm going to put all new seals and gaskets on there, which I am having an issue finding. Yeah, I mean, it's not. I'm not going to do a whole lot of body modifications. I might put one of those off-road bumpers on the front. In storage, I do have a tire rack to get bolted on the back. The back bumper is going to get replaced with a heavy-duty bumper. I've already got the Reese hitch and the wiring for it, so I don't have to worry about that. Another issue that I have noticed is the back window is supposed to retract all the way into the tailgate. It doesn't do it. There's 2-3 inches that stays up. I don't like that. It makes me nervous about busting that glass, because that glass is not cheap. It's also got rear defrost, so it makes it even more expensive. So if anybody has any ideas on that, let me know. But yeah, I mean, it's just a bunch of little stuff now. Cruise control doesn't work, horn doesn't work, which we have a Harbor Freight now here in town, and a buddy of mine just went out there, and I think he spent like $40 or $50 and got a set of air horns with the compressor and everything. So I will admit there are times where I get a little grumpy, I should say, in traffic, because people in this town just do not know how to drive. They pull out in front of you, cut you off, and I go to hit the horn, there's nothing there. So my black Bronco has air horns in it. I'm kind of trying to stick with an old school style theme. Like I said, I'm going to do the air horns. I'm going to put a CB in it. This is the only vehicle that didn't have a CB put in it within a couple of weeks. I'm just going to do old style Cobra Classic with a couple of I'm still debating on going between 3 and 4 foot fire sticks bolted right to the mirrors, because it's got the old style bar mirrors. That's what I did on my black one. That's what I'm going to do on this one. The only other issue that I have right now is we've bled the brakes. Vacuum's great, but it pulls to the right if you hit the brakes hard enough. If you lay into them easy, it brakes straight. You hit those brakes, it jerks to the right. I don't know if I've got a stick in the caliper. They're new. I mean, they've only got maybe 1,500 miles on them, so it could be a bad one. I don't know. I haven't had time. I'm on spring break right now. The kids are on spring break. The weather's been a roller coaster ride. We've gone from snow and ice storms to in 50s, back down to the 30s, snow, freezing rain. It's literally all over the board. We've had all 4 seasons in a week. It's Iowa. The only other thing that I plan on doing with it right now is I'm going to get an extra set of rims. Don't know if I'm going to go the old school wagon wheels like what's on the Bronco right now, or if I'm going to keep with the style that's on there. But I'm going to put another set of 31 10.5 15s, but they're going to be some aggressive tread. I've got all seasons on there right now. I've never gotten stuck. I have slid a couple of times on the ice, but it's ice. But never had a problem getting up and going. Traction wise, they've been a good tire. They're wearing evenly. I have done a couple of burnouts with it, just being a goof off out at Nyack, but you can't notice. Yeah, it's right now, I mean, for the money I paid for it and what little I've had to do to it, I've gotten a hell of a good deal. Like I said, I only paid $1,000 for it. I've got even with the speakers and everything. I had the front door speakers. A friend of mine gave me a set of 6x9s that were still new in the box. Didn't have a vehicle to put them in anymore, so she just gave them to me. Yeah, I think I've maybe got $40 in parts in that truck. Oh, I just changed the ignition switch, because the other one you could pull the key out whenever. You could start it without the key. Sometimes you had to punch the ignition switch to get it to turn. I spent $16 on the ignition switch. So yeah, I've literally got $35-40 in that truck in parts. And like I said, I've put right about 1,000 miles on it. It's never broken down. It's never failed to start. It could use a bigger battery, just get started a little faster, a little better. But like I said, it's never failed to start. I have noticed that I haven't pulled them out yet. I haven't pulled the rear tail lights out yet, but they are bright. I mean, they are freaking bright. I mean, just on the running lights, they're bright. You hit the brakes, I mean, it lights up the side of my building. So I don't know if he's got LEDs in them or what, but I don't know why. I've never had a vehicle where they're that bright. I mean, heck, even the license plate lights are bright. And I did check those, but they're a sealed unit. Factory style replacements, but they're a sealed unit. You can't change the bulbs. So I've gone through the receipts. It does not say anything about LEDs. It doesn't. I haven't seen one receipt for light bulbs. So, but and all the receipts I found are ball joints, tie rods, inner and outers, drag links, sway bar end links, front KYB shocks. The backs, they're white. I know they're not Ranchos, but they're newer. They're not KYBs. But I don't know what they are, but I mean, they're newer. When I had it up on the left out at Nyack, I pulled all the tires off and checked everything. That's when we bled the brakes, and all the brake system is new. I mean, master cylinder, booster, most of the lines are new. Shoes, drums, rotors, pads, calipers, slide pins, they're all new. So, I mean, I'm going to fix this thing up. I do have some decals being made. I've got 4x4 in black in Gothic lettering going for the sides, and then on the front windshield I found almost like Ghost Rider 2 style horses that are on fire. A friend of mine's making them. He's got one going to be facing left, one's facing right, and then Gothic lettering in a silver diamond plate looking vinyl. I'm going to say Bronco on it. That's going on the front windshield. And I'm going to put a visor. The Bronco had a visor on it at one point in time. All the holes are there. They did it right when they sealed it up. There's silicone and plugs, so that's not rusting. But it's going to take me a little bit to get all the silicone out, but I am going to put another visor on it. So, like I said, if anybody's got any ideas, I got a bone stock 302. I'm already upgrading the ignition system to all MSD and long tubed headers, but I need ideas for a cam and what size injectors, what I can do to get some more power out of it. Right now I'm averaging about 10 miles a gallon as it is, so mileage isn't too big of a concern, but I'd like to try and keep some of it. I know that Bronco should be at least 15 on the highway, but I know a good tune-up's going to help with that. So if anybody's got any ideas, let me know. And here shortly we're going to start a series on upgrades and general maintenance and getting this thing cleaned up and looking the way I think it should. So you guys all have a good night, and we'll talk to you later.